What's up, y'all? It's Papa It's D. About to react to this Troycetv. Quite a few of you have told me to check out this vid. This is titled Nicki Minaj Has a Point, but this is her karma for Lil Kim. So I skimmed through it, and he's giving us receipts, showing us things that Nicki has said in the past, and clips of Lil Kim, and how what's taking place with Nicki is her karma manifesting from how she treated Lil Kim and how she took her spot, apparently. Something like that. I don't know, chap. Let's get the full tea and what he got to say. Let's watch.
Views may find this disturbing. Your discretion is advised.
Hi, my loves. It's Destin Choice, and you're watching Troycetv. So for today's video, as you guys know, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. As we all know, Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion have their infamous beef going on, and most of us have no idea where it started, where it came from, where it stemmed from. Megan Thee Stallion recently dropped her new single, His, and obviously it's now the #1 most streamed and sold song in America right now, surpassing Taylor Swift, Jack Harlow, and much more.
What niggas get their job broke? Wait,
we
is that
are
T?
#1. Like,
and thanks to Rock Nation and many people on her team, the song has catapulted into success. Many people are playing it. A lot of radio stations are playing it. It's doing really well. And the reason why it's doing so well is because she was taking digs at Nicki Minaj, saying that Nicki Minaj needs to be mad at Megan's Law instead of being mad at Megan. And as we all know, Megan's Law is a very popular law about sex offenders, where a lot of people need to register as sex offenders, and it spreads awareness against, children living in the same community as offenders. And it was inspired by Megan Kanka, because as we all know, Nicki Minaj is married to a rapist. So unfortunately, people for the rest of Nicki Minaj's life are always going to throw that in her face no matter what. The fact that she's tied to a man.
I also heard that her social media manager or something like that is also an offender. People are saying that, she's surrounded by a whole bunch of offenders, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard, y'all.
And that raped a woman allegedly. And now, no matter what Nicki Minaj does, people are always going to bring up her husband. So, of course, that one bar is what got Nicki Minaj riled up. And it even turned Nicki Minaj going on this crazy-ass 3-day Twitter rant, going in, saying that Desiree Mitchell, who we all know is head of Rock Nation, Rock Nation is doing all this to try to replace Nicki Minaj, and they want to replace me.
Y'all mad because y'all don't have somebody that loves you and stands 10 toes down behind you. So you bring up 30-year-old teeth, but when this man was a 15-year-old person, child. You bring up 30-year-old teeth because no man has ever and will ever love you. And lying on your dead mother, your dead mama. On your dead.
Let me just start by saying that I completely understand why Nicki Minaj went on this crazy rant. I actually see her perspective, and I can't believe I'm defending Nicki Minaj, but I understand why she's mad at Megan and why this beef started. The reason I get it, even though I don't condone it, is because Megan Thee Stallion is a phony. We all know how it's like to be used, and we all know how it's like to be used by somebody and eventually tossed away and thrown off to the side. And unfortunately, this happened to Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, how they first had their first interaction was, initially public. As we all know, Nicki Minaj jumped on Megan's live. She showed Megan a lot of love because Megan was telling people to tell Nicki to join her live. They were engaging, there was a lot of love. Megan was a new it girl. Her song, Big Old Freak, was doing so well all over the radio, it was on the charts. She was just a new popular girl on the rise. It's really ironic and unfortunate how she really sat on live and dissed Cardi B, which is how all this beef started to begin with. Nicki Minaj was like, ooh. And then eventually she does a song with Cardi B 2 years later.
One motherfucking wrong thing. I'm gonna go write some shit. Okay, so you need to stop. Because stop. I'm gonna go write some shit.
Now,
that could be a diss to a lot of people because a lot of girls don't write that shit. Okay, a lot of them.
Enough, Nicki Minaj made it seem like she didn't care about her collaborating with Cardi B. But let's be realistic for a second. She cared, especially because the fans cared. If you don't break that mainstream surface or at least get approval by Nicki Minaj, you're not going to make it that far as a female rapper because Nicki Minaj technically runs shit. Most of the people that support female rap music are Nicki Minaj fans. So a lot of people are probably around Megan telling her, get what you can out of her, get what you can out of her, get what you can out of her. And evidently, she was able to get what she could out of Nicki and eventually distanced herself because she probably wasn't feeling Nicki and people probably got in her ear. But it is ironic how she's going around saying that Nicki Minaj should be worried about her predator husband. But in reality, she had no problem being around Nicki Minaj's husband when he was in the music video, when he was sitting in the same room as them.
How is this relevant? I've heard people say the same thing, and it's like, what does this have to do with anything? She's not saying, oh, your husband is horrible, he's a terrible person. She just said, you not mad at me, you mad at the law. You mad at Megan's law, which is the law that got him in trouble. He got in trouble for violating that law, right? So that's she's just throwing a shot. Like, you not mad at me, you mad at that. Like, that's not saying that, oh, he's horrible, I can't be around him. So I feel like that that argument is a little faulty.
Probably being around Trey songs. So why do you care so much about the fact that her husband's a predator when you got no problem using Nicki Minaj?
She's not trying to be an activist against predators.
She's a social climber.
Talking
That's what
shit.
Stallion is. But she played the game, and they're not really friends. Nicki Minaj knows it best. There's no friends in the entertainment industry.
I told him it's no friends in the game. You ain't learned that yet.
Megan Thee Stallion is smart.
No
She took a page out of your own book and she played your own game against you. And guess what? In the next 5 years, she got a #1 hit dissing you. Nicki Minaj unfortunately did this to herself. Nicki Minaj is a mean girl in the entertainment industry. When are her fans gonna realize this? Nicki Minaj is a fucking asshole. She's not nice to people. And that's why people in the entertainment industry don't like her. She pissed off a lot of very powerful people. You know, if you guys didn't know this, a couple of days ago, the Grammys went on, and her and Ice Spice were nominated for several Grammys for their song Barbie World. And anyone that listens to the radio knows that was a huge song on the radio. And that song was almost everywhere. It was in so many memes.
Oh, those were their actual songs?
It was a big song. But unfortunately, the Grammys went on their Twitter and they announced that Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice won that Grammy, just to find out that the Grammys made a small little tiny error, and then they ended up deleting the tweet and correcting it and saying, oh, my bad, the Grammy actually goes to Killer Mike. That was basically the Grammy saying, fuck you, ho. You would never get shit from us, ever. Ever. You thought. And that just goes to show you how Nicki Minaj pissed people in the entertainment industry off. Even Jason Lee said it the best. Jason Lee said Nicki Minaj pissed off some powerful people, and that's why a lot of people aren't going to play her record, and that's why she won't win a Grammy anytime soon.
Like I've said before, but, you know, again, the barbs never catch that. I've said before she should have won a long time ago. She's talented. But it's more of a popularity contest once you get nominated, and if the people don't like you and they don't put your name in the bucket, you don't get your name pulled. I think it's more embarrassing that Glorilla and Lotto are potentially going to have Grammys before Nicki Minaj. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Yeah, true. I think also people are acting like she's never got a nomination before. Like, and it's not like she's been, yeah, go ahead.
Nicki Minaj was in the game by herself, dominating space for like 10 years. Yeah. You mean to tell me it's years she never put out a song that was worthy of winning? I just think that, you know, people just haven't liked her. And it's sad, but it's more of a testament of who she is as a person. And she has to change that. I can't change. Maybe she'll get a Lifetime Achievement Award like in 30 years or something. I don't know.
Then DJ Envy made it very clear that he's not a fan of Nicki Minaj. He didn't like the fact that Nicki Minaj was going around trying to threaten DJ Self, because DJ Self has some very strong opinions about Nicki Minaj, and he made it very clear that he's not playing Nicki Minaj's record anymore no matter what. And he purposely stopped playing Nicki Minaj's record because he's very close to DJ Self.
But what happened? Because I've never heard of
this. I guess this was like 5-6 years ago. I guess DJ Self, who's a DJ on the station, and I ride for all the DJs, I support all the DJs. Yeah. He said that Cardi B's album was better than Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj at the time got upset and said she was sending some Queens dudes up here to pretty much beat him up.
Okay.
And he was threatening him. And I thought that was whack. I thought that if somebody has an opinion, you can't threaten that man for his opinion. Now, if he says some foul ish about you, your husband, your kids, or your family, then everything is open. But if he just says, I don't like your album or I feel away, and you threaten him, I just find that's whack. And I ride.
Right.
No, I didn't say
subject. Nicki Minaj, blackball.
No, please, grow up, Charlamagne. Go ahead.
So I ride for the DJs, meaning the DJs are always the one that gets picked on, that gets beat up. Like,
no, you did blackball. I remember.
Yeah, no, I didn't play it during that time, but I thought they squashed that. I can't blackball. All I can do is not put her in my mix. My mix is 11
Did you not baseball or did you base?
It's fucked up, yes. But when you piss people off, they're always going to have some subconscious bias against you. And the fact that DJ Envy did that, that tells me that he already didn't like her anyways. But the people are so quick to switch up on you, they already didn't like your ass in the first place. They just wanted a reason to turn against you. And of course, Megan Thee Stallion pretty much paid Nicki Minaj dust. She doesn't care at all. She's not addressing it and did nothing but fuel more popularity to Megan. And it made Megan even more powerful. It does nothing but makes Megan fans want to go harder. So Nicki Minaj, honestly, fell into Megan's trap, and she fell into Roc Nation's trap. She keeps going on Twitter saying they're trying to replace me, they want to get rid of me. She's been saying this for years. Like, since the rise of Cardi B, they want to get rid of me, they want to try to replace me, and it's true. They tried Iggy Azalea, they tried Azalea Banks, they tried that girl Lady LaShore, they tried so many female rappers to try to catapult them to stardom, support them, but nothing ever really stuck. Nicki Minaj was the only rapper to break that mainstream service and to stay on top and to be a big icon. But unfortunately, a lot of these labels can't get rid of her. Azalea Banks said the best many years ago, why a lot of these labels are out to get Nicki Minaj.
My theory is that Nicki Minaj, for a very long time, has had like complete market share of the female rap. And for a very long time, these other music industry execs have been trying to push their female rap products through. You know, you saw Iggy Azalea, and you saw like all these other girls, and Nicki Minaj was just not letting these other corporate white guys get a piece of her fucking pie. So they made Cardi B and launched her. It's not a theory, it's the truth. They made her and launched her on Nicki, and that's just because of this greater white male, like corporate parts to the fucking music industry that's just not gonna they're just not gonna let a black girl have any sort of like power. You know, Nicki had too much like the power, the female rap power was too centralized in one spot. They had to launch something on her to break that shit up.
Nicki Minaj hates the fact that she doesn't get the same treatment as men, and I think that's why she doesn't care to change her attitude when it comes to playing the game. And Nicki Minaj kind of failed the test. I think one of these days we will all look back at the shit Nicki Minaj says, and I think a lot of us will reflect on it and be like, damn, she said this 10, 20 years ago and she was right. And it's crazy how these new people...
I don't think what she's saying is invalid at all. I feel like, you know, she is speaking truth, but she's so unlikable that people don't want to hear it. And they are quick to brush her off because she... And I'm not saying you have to expose people in a nice manner or anything, but it's just the way that she comes across. It's just very, very unlikable. So people are not really sympathetic towards you.
Rappers are shitting on her because look how quickly she shit on Lil Kim when the industry put bugs in her ear. And it's funny how now everything is circling right back to her. Karma is so real.
Hugs and kisses. Can I take a picture with you? I love you, you know. This is somebody that I looked at highly. We took a picture, everything was good. But you want to know what scares people? Success. When you don't make moves and when you don't climb up the ladder, everybody loves you because you're not competition. When you become competition, then people start, Yeah, people like, hold on, so true. So I felt like
that's what you're doing.
You're gonna go down
top
history
rap
now
girls.
as a loser.
I just talked about this. What you saying? But I mean, you're not losing yet. But I said that in another video. How, you know, she has a problem with all of the top girls. The girls that she has buddied up with, it's people who they're not really at the top. Aside from Ice Spice, but she's a industry plant. That's a whole different situation. And Ice Spice is not an actual threat because Ice Spice cannot rap, and I don't think Ice Spice will even be around in the next couple of years at all. But people who are an actual threat, who have actual talent, and they are starting to rise in popularity, she has a problem with all of them, all of the top girls. And look what she said, like, oh, everything's cool until you're a threat. So it's like, oh, she was cool with Meg in the beginning. Meg was like up and coming. You know, her numbers were very low. People wasn't really checking for her that heavily. This is before WAP and before, you know, she had any like crazy success. So it's like, okay, she was cool with her then to do the little Hot Girl Summer song. But, you know, when she started working with Cardi, had that #1 song with Cardi and all of this, now it's a problem.
As opposed to going down in history as the queen. Because if you can't beat them, join them. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. You don't have to feel the need to put somebody down and make yourself feel better.
A new Supreme rises, the old Supreme dies. And that's what Nicki Minaj is scared of. She knows that her time is coming. She knows there will be a time where she will become 50 years old, tired, weak, drained, stressed out, focusing on her baby and her family. And she won't be able to be the same Nicki Minaj we know her to be. She won't be able to really hold the torch. She won't be able to get on stage and go on tour like she used to. Nicki Minaj is in her 40s. And it's really sad and unfortunate people keep pointing fun at her age, but eventually you have to die out. You have to let people win. Nicki Minaj has pissed off a lot of people. She has went around threatening people who work in the media, threatening people to get people fired, threatening to get people's shit taken down, threatening people to get rid of them, threatening to off people, and so much more. On top of that, the famous blogger and popular owner of Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee, went out of his way to out Nicki Minaj and her husband for trying to intimidate him because, as we all know, Jason Lee has had a feud with Nicki Minaj for several years because of him being biased, because he is great friends with Cardi B, and he has gotten way too involved in the beef going on between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. And that's part of the reason why Nicki Minaj is not a fan of Jason Lee. So Jason Lee went out of his way to basically out and expose Nicki Minaj for her husband sending goons to his front door because they are mad at the shit that he's posting on his blog.
I ain't with the street shit, but I have no problem talking about it in public. See, in the industry, what people don't realize is that the industry has a lot of gang affiliations, and the gangs pretty much run the industry. Everybody got protection, everybody got somebody in their pocket, everybody whatever. But the fact that you went to some street niggas and tried to elicit their activity, by the way, I've talked to all the niggas in the street. They weren't gonna do your dirty work. The gag was they put you on blast and now your tea is out there. And now you're mad because I'm actually calling parole officers and DAs. This ain't nothing But content for me, it's a game for you, but it's content for me because if they lock you up, which they should, Nicki Minaj and her husband should be in prison. They are terrorizing people in the streets. You can't menace people in the streets and participate in RICO activity and think that a nigga not gonna call your car. You tried to have DJ Academics beat up, allegedly. You've pressed other people about it. There's a whole interview that somebody did with DJ Vlad where he outlined it. We posted that yesterday, so the receipts are all out there that you have a behavior of doing this. So, why aren't you in prison? Why? He's been locked up for that. He's on the pedophile. He's on the registry list. Actually, you can Google her address. It's online. So they live in Calabasas. I got the address. How do I know? Because he's fucking on the registry list. And so now in New York, I can't move around with just the security I used to. Now I gotta have police with me. When I go to Atlanta this weekend for Revolt World, I can't just go in my trailer and walk around and have nice times with everybody and this and that. Now I gotta shut down the whole backstage. I gotta make sure that my security is on point, and I gotta make sure that niggas are ready to kill you goons who are hired to try to intimidate me. I'm not Barty Gang. I'm not Nicki Minaj, whatever the bars, I'm Hollywood Unlocked, bitch.
He went on to say that Nicki Minaj's husband is, blood from Queens, and he said a lot of stuff. And this is the kind of stuff you just don't do when you're trying to move up. Because people like bloggers like Jason Lee, people who control the media, they have a lot of relationships with radio DJs, entertainers, influencers. They have great relationships, and a lot of people will purposely find a reason to go against you. And this is what it is. Nicki Minaj has every right to be upset because at the end of the day, she busted her ass to change the mold and to carry the female rap torch. And now, here are these other female rappers who have only been in the game mainstream for like 2-3 years getting deals with Nike, getting deals with, Sprite, getting deals with all these major corporations, getting these M's that she couldn't get until she was at least 3 years into her mainstream career. Nicki Minaj, if anything, probably has like 4 more years left. But within those 4 or 5 years of her in the industry, there's going to be more and more and more girls coming in. And they're going to constantly be brought up on these pedestals. And the reason why it's so easy to get rid of her is because people didn't like her in general. She was always the mean girl, but people always had to get through her because how good does it look to have a female rapper co-signing your brand? But now, there's plethora. You're literally digging your own grave, and then you're wondering why people keep trying to toss you or push you in it. There's a reason why the public is going against you. Nicki Minaj is very fortunate to have her fans, and her fans would be a big reason why she stays around for longer than she needs to be. But Nicki Minaj will eventually get to a point where her fans will probably turn on her. There will be a moment where eventually her fans will probably leak group chats of her, leak information of her, and they'll switch up on her. Because this whole making fun of somebody's dead mom, I understand why she did it. It's not okay. Again, I'm not saying it's okay. But, Megan did talk about her husband. So you talked about her husband, and I can't really, I can't get mad if I push you and you punch me. That's all I'm going to say. If you push somebody and they punch you, you can't get mad if, you don't like the way they punched you. It just is what it is. But all I'm going to say is this. Nicki Minaj is doing this to herself. She's destroying and deteriorating her own image. And I don't think Nicki Minaj is happy with herself. I feel like Nicki Minaj, even though she knows she's great and that she's amazing and that she did all these things and she's a global icon, I think she hates the fact that people still discredit her. I think she's so self-absorbed that nothing's ever good enough. I think she has some deep-rooted imposter syndrome where no matter what she accomplishes, it's never good enough. Why do you keep comparing yourself to the younger girls? Why do you keep comparing your sales to, look at your sales. You went double styrofoam. You went cardboard. I'm still the highest selling female rapper. You'll never surpass me. You'll never get to the level I got. And then here comes Cardi B, who ends up surpassing her in a few ways, getting more #1 hits than her, getting a Grammy before she did, and breaking records that she hasn't even broken, and eventually affected her confidence because she's being compared to an industry plant. Like, I hate to say it, but Cardi B isn't really an industry plant, but she's more so, like, she's coddled, and she was kind of propelled to replace Nicki. Cardi B is literally a reality TV star, a girl from the Bronx. Never even had this weird big passion to rap. She got thrown a couple bars, picked up rapping as a passion project, and she elevated and propelled, and her team elevated her into stardom. Cardi B is basically an entertainer. She's not a real rapper. She's not, she'll never really be a rap icon. She'll just be an entertainer. She's an entertainer. She's a face. She's a face with 60 other people behind her who are pushing her to be this brand. She's not a rap. She's not a stellar rapper. She probably only writes 10% of her stuff. And she's getting compared to someone like Nicki Minaj. That affects Nicki Minaj's confidence because no matter what, people will always discredit Nicki Minaj, and that's why she's upset. She's not happy with herself. She's narcissistic. She's narcissistic to a point where she thinks that even if she tries to surpass or do amazing things and be at the level of the guys, she feels as though that she's still not good enough. She feels as though that she's still not enough. And that's why Nicki Minaj is always going at it with the newer girls. That's why when Nicki Minaj does get together with the new girls, she has to somehow kind of benefit from it. She has to make sure she benefits from it times 10. That's why even when Nicki Minaj does get on a track with these new rap girls and she does get on remixes, it always benefits her as well. It benefits her. It's not just her doing these people favors. It benefits her hopping on a hot song and pushing the record if she likes the record. It brings her popularity, it brings her streams, and it increases her catalog. Let's be realistic and let's be honest for a second. Nicki Minaj eventually has to die out and go away. And I think that's one thing that she's truly scared of. I think Nicki Minaj just has some self-esteem issues, and I think she just genuinely needs therapy. Because even when people try to call her out and hold her accountable for her creating her own demise and creating her own reputation, she always deflects and turns it into a, oh, well, you know, it's not my fault when people look at me this way, or, yeah, I'm a mean girl, but who cares? It's unfortunate because this is a full circle moment. She tried to do the same thing to Lil Kim. Didn't give a fuck that people tried to toss Lil Kim off to the side, and Lil Kim warned us about this happening to her, that people were trying to toss her away, dust her to the side, and propel this new girl and shit on everything she's ever created, and the industry was backing Nicki.
And how it's supposed to go. They knew what she was. I'm not saying that she's not, I'm not saying she's a horrible artist, but I definitely think she's overrated because she's not a horrible artist to me. I don't think she's a horrible artist at all. I know other artists that are, she's all right. But the thing is that this is what I feel. I was so looking forward to that video happening because I thought that would have been so great. You know what I mean? It would have been great. Like, I love when women want to be like me. I think that is the biggest flattery. I mean,
you know, OG, of course you might have been for it.
Well, at the end of the day, I am just who I am. You know what I mean? So
because I am who I am.
Whether I was in the industry rapping or not, maybe somebody could be attracted to my style. Maybe somebody could just be attracted to the way I move. Maybe somebody could be attracted to the way I talk. At the end of the day, it's an attraction. You know what I mean? And don't downplay it. If you go back and she's asked all these times, you need to do your homework because I don't know what she's saying.
Have you heard Nicki pay homage to Kim?
Yeah, she definitely pay homage. But if she take a shot, that might be some person that I don't know about. But I heard her pay homage before because she said she looked up to you. Even when she did that mixtape cover, when she did the same position as you.
But this is what I understand something. If somebody says, I love you, but I hate you.
And now it's happening to her. And it'll keep happening to the next rap girl, the next rap girl, the next rap girl. And Nicki Minaj knows that she's getting her karma. Rachel True said it the best. Well, be careful of the energy that you put out.
That's the whole lesson, is that what you put out will come back. And part of the theory in witchcraft is what you put out will come back times 3. Yeah. So even if you put out a little bad thought, it's going to come slamming back. And that's, I think, how people should think about in life. I mean, when you're talking to people and dealing with people every day, no matter who it is, put out something positive, you're going to get something positive.
This is so random.
The energy you put out will always come back to you tenfold. Always be careful with the energy you put out because look what happened to Nicki Minaj. Now she has to kind of reflect and look at the shit she did to Lil Kim. And now she's eating her words.
You're going to go down in history now as a sore loser.
But it is what it is, and I really hope everybody can learn a valuable lesson from this. And this is just a true meaning of friendship PTSD. And I don't really feel bad for her, but I do understand her Twitter rant, and I get why she's upset. Because everybody who understands why she's upset knows how it's like to be used and tossed away, and for someone to climb on top of you to get what they want, and then eventually toss you away and get rid of you. Everyone watching this knows how that feels. But I was after this video.
I mean, yeah, I hear him. And like I said, I do feel like there is some validity in what Nicki is saying. I do feel like they probably are trying to push her out to a certain degree because she has monopolized, the female rap. She has been running it for a very long time now. And they're like, okay, it's time for some new girls to come in. And I feel like that's valid. That's okay. I feel like she just wants to dominate this space permanently. And that's not realistic. It's like you either bow out gracefully or you get pushed out. Those are the options. So I understand why, they want to bring new female rappers into the space and they want to propel their careers. And they might, plant some industry plants because we need other people. We need some fresh talent. It just can't be you forever. At some point, you're going to have to retire. You're not going to be rapping at 70 years old, 60 years old. Like, come on. Even the guys, they bow out gracefully after a certain amount of time. Andre 3000 was just talking about, like, bro, I'm fucking 50 or 60, however old he is. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm not about to be rapping no more. Like, I'm doing other shit. Like, what y'all want me to rap about, bro? My back hurt, my knees hurt, whatever the hell. So it's like, girl, bow out gracefully like the queen. But no, you want to get pushed out kicking and screaming. It's just like, bro, it looks crazy. It looks terrible. And I feel like she needs to get it together. Hopefully she does some soul searching and she does eventually bow out gracefully, but it doesn't seem like that's the route she's taking, unfortunately. And I'm sure she's been through a lot. Nicki has been in the industry for a very long time, so I'm sure she's faced a lot of, sexism, discrimination, a lot of bullshit. So she probably is also traumatized to a certain degree. So I do feel for her on one end, but on the other end, it's like, girl, you just doing a lot, and then it is like, yeah, this is your karma because look at what happened with Lil Kim and all of the comments that you made about Lil Kim back in the day. Those comments can be applied to you right now. So you need to take a look at these clips of what you were saying and take your own advice. Like, it's so crazy how the tables have turned. But yeah, anyway, hopefully she gets it together. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you're gonna watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.